So, remember the slums in Basin Keep?
I do.
It turns out that this is the point in the game at which the content starts actually appearing there. This one is also technically secret in that it doesn't show up on the big board. You just have to kind of come over here after unlocking Grand Chris Cairo. And this guy's just hanging around. He's got a fetch quest for us. We've already done it.
So why do we need to get some guy hanging out in the slums, like 10 poisonous mushrooms, so that he can get access to something?
Yeah, for some quick cash, and helping a guy join his dad's totally legit business. Anyway, I feel like we've just set something in motion there. Well, this is probably fine, right? Just totally normal organization with an underground jail. Everything is fine.
Wow, that's a little on the nose there.
Oh, you think? Man, what is this, CrossCode? Besides, we've already had the Goat Father. What's a little more directness?
So this is the drug trade. We're a supplier now.
Please. This is a benign local pharmaceutical industry. We're in healthcare.
Clearly we should have brought Apollo to this, and then so that he could I feel like this scene is missing something without, somebody yelling about how that would be unethical and against, the honor of the Spheromancers or some shit like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody has any dialogue here. It's like we said before, it's one of the little missed opportunities. But yeah. Nobody has anything to observe about any of this. They just sit here and yeah, this is fine. Everything is fine. Let's go and just do a little job for the actual mafia. This is fine.
What if we just fed his kid to the shock hats that are wandering around? Just be sorry, he couldn't cut it.
We could do that as a lore concern anyway. There's no gameplay mechanic for that. Anyway, that mushroom that we just jumped on to get up here is it is my single least favorite environment object in this game. I spent, on the first time I played this game, I I swear to God, I spent an actual hour trying to figure out how the hell to get up here. Because every time my eyes looked at that mushroom, it just did not pass as something that you can jump on to climb up. I don't know why it was so difficult. Also, of course, there's way more to actually do up here than just to go into that side quest area. There's like 3 separate things we can do up here. One of them I think we're actually going to spend a while before we actually come back, and I realised that I could have done it all along. That's just the level that this game's secrets are playing at. But yes, you might recall there is a whole other chest in a pond off to the right. And as of right now, I have no idea how to get it. I mean, I'm gonna get it eventually, but you know what I mean. Now I think about it, if he was actually walking around down there, the cats absolutely would just all get him, so... It's a good thing that he doesn't have any AI for walking around down there. Or I guess it's actually a bad thing, because, like... I don't have any much sympathy to this guy.
This is a guy who definitely needs to pet the cats. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I like how his sprite has a suit, and he's talking about how he hates being in this cave because it's so damp it's going to ruin his suit, and his portrait is just some dude in a t-shirt.
Yeah. They, maybe missed a trick on that one. Especially since his dad got the full art treatment. So, you want to do another stealth section?
Boy, do I ever.
Then I have excellent news for you. I also have some bad news for you, which is, this kinda sucks.
I assumed as much.
I mean, I know we went in on the actual mechanics of the stealth before and the slightly inconsistent visual stuff and the whole thing where the vision cone appears to be animated over the top of everything, but for all of its sins, the previous stealth section was still pretty snappy, it was pretty reliable, you could figure it out pretty easily, it was like actually fun and interesting to figure out, and the whole package just kind of worked holistically when the time came and you went to do it. This one's rougher. Bits of it are far too slow.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
behaviors are...
I was gonna say, like, are those guys gonna move at all? Like, I thought it broke there for a second.
I mean, yes, they are going to move, eventually. So yeah, certain bits of this are going in cycles that take a bit too long to actually play out. Certain behaviours are pretty inconsistent. These guards do actually have some awareness behind them. I think so did the robots, but the fact that these are humans rather than just robots makes thinking about this weirder. That should not have been a detection. The good news here is that, like all the best video game bits, this is actually still kind of optimized for doing it quickly. So, a lot of the time, once you figure this out, the correct course of action to take is usually always the fastest one. It involves being the boldest, just going straight for the stuff. normally if you're waiting, it's because you've done something wrong. And that doesn't really forgive this whole thing being a trial and error process that can wind up taking too long, but it is, like, it's not nothing. It is something. Also, there are shortcuts. This is very much a 2-act challenge, and you do not have to replay the first act. Now, this guard over to screen right here. Do you notice the subtle distinction? Because sometimes he turns slowly around and he goes looking left to looking up to looking right, and sometimes he just goes directly from looking left to looking right. Because if he looks directly into those mushrooms, he will see you. This is not a stealth mechanic. This is 100% a timing mechanic.
Yeah, I don't see any difference there.
I mean, he does it on a pattern. So, like, he does the slow sweep and then he does the quick sweep. It's not like it's not consistent and predictable. It's just bad. All in all, this whole segment does stealth stuff that is not good and feels a tiny bit spitefully designed. As the weird stealth sections in video games not designed for stealth sections go, I award this whole segment. I'm gonna go with 2 Fire Emblem Path of Radiance stealth missions out of 5 as an overall spike rating for this section.
That looks like that should probably be seeing you.
Yeah, but I'm not going to try and figure out what the hell are the actual mechanics here. I just know that there's one decently reliable way of doing this, and I'm not going to push my luck much. The good news is that those guys over to the far right of the room are actually probably the most, like, actually bullshit thing in here. Once you get past them, and especially once you get past that guy that we just got past, the rest of this is pretty smooth sailing. I mean, not that you'd know that if you hadn't done it yet, but I'm just saying. The rest of this section is not awful.
So wait, hang on. They gave us a bug so that they could track our movement through that whole thing.
Yep.
So theoretically, they're going to come down here and mimic us.
Do the exact same thing. Yes.
They're going to mimic us when the guards are human and therefore just wandering around doing whatever.
I mean, the guards are human, but they're following patrol routes. They've got rules. And that's why they're gonna lose. Also, this guy seriously does actually count the number of times that you attempt this and reads it back at you. And I'm like, fuck you. Why did I agree to put in a good word for this guy?
That just seems... That's just really mean of the game. Like, if you didn't want me to have to, like...
Yeah.
Like, don't put shitty, janky stealth in your game, and then also be like, haha, what are you, fucking terrible at this? It took you 7 tries to do it.
In something resembling the game's defense, we are definitely actually supposed to hate that guy. So there is that. But also, like, yeah, this is one of those times in which, yeah, the game tries to do self-aware about maybe not being great, and it doesn't work, because unlike most of the other times that this game tries to do funny self-aware stuff, it has actually just done something bad, and you've not enjoyed it because it wasn't good. So, maybe don't try and take that bow, is all I'm going to say on that. Also, yes, we can stick around and do even more puzzling, which, if you don't fuck it up, doesn't require you to additionally engage with the guards. But if you do, you gotta get back up here. And that's not very good.
So, I know the answer to this in my heart, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Uh-huh.
If we were to fall and get caught,
yes,
where would the game put us?
Start. Right back at the start. You know, I did consider wandering around some more, but we've got everything in here, so... Also, you can't actually attack. I was like, okay, I'm gonna at least have some fun on my way out, but you can't even aim at the guards. So that also sucks. So yes, I hope it has not escaped your attention that the man that we are dealing with is named Don Vita Calzone. But yes, the legitimate business operations of the local pharmaceutical trade are restored. More importantly, we can now purchase 1-up mushrooms. These are fun, but also very expensive. But yes, they give you, they double your health regen, and they give you an enormous amount of SP regen for 69 seconds.
Of course they do.
Unfortunately, did I mention that they are expensive? Yes, Emily. Congratulations on no longer having any money.
I say we're very proud of you, Emily, for blowing your life savings on the Mafia-run drug den.
Anyway, the actual reward for doing this is that we can now access the trading hub, so to speak. There's not a lot of stuff in this first one, there's literally just the one trader and the one chest. And a bizarrely prominent piece of ambient sound. I don't really get what's going on there.
But will we find Noel?
I'm afraid not. Also, there's this jump, which, yes, does require you to get up and run along the top of the fence. But more importantly, there is a huge pile of boxes right at the back, which allows us to finally access the second layer of Basin Key. It's not that big. It's not that complicated either, but this is probably the highest separation of elevations on a single screen in the game. Technically the most vertical environment that we've seen yet.
My sense of verticality is all kinds of fucked up here. Like, I can't tell if we've gone, just straight across all these rooftops, or if we've jumped down, like, half the height of those boxes.
No, we have not changed elevation since getting up here. Like, there are literally only 2 main elevations here. Also, yeah, we can't talk to this guy from inside. Technically, I should have jumped along the top of some of these stalls, because there's a chest here which requires you to do that, but I got distracted by all the stuff that we can buy. So anyway, here's Excalibur. I don't understand what's even the point of this.
I mean,
I thought the idea here was that it would be good but give you a big drawback, but it seems to just be shit.
I was gonna say, what's the point of Excalibur?
This is a reference to something, I don't know what. You can't get all the references in this game, it just doesn't work like that. There's just too many of them. Also, this item crashed the game on PS4 version for ages. Presumably something about either the quote or the colon in the item description just made the engine just die, so whenever you have the description of that pop up on the screen, the game would just crash. It's fixed now, but it was very funny. Also, this is about the point in the game where you can start straight upgrading some of your weapons, and that's usually a very good idea. The upgraded stuff is pretty good. You might have noticed some of the stats and the buffs on that thing. And yeah, there's that chest. It takes me a little while to realise that I should have jumped on top of the stalls on the way down, but... don't worry. I figured it out in the end. But I did have to go poking around a bit first. Also, there's this guy. I don't know. There's nothing particularly special about him, I'm just glad to talk to somebody who isn't a giant walking reference to something. But yeah, I told you we'd get this in the end. And finally, we can actually, you know, go along this path that we opened before. But don't forget to jump down there first, because there's yet another slightly hidden chest. This game sometimes. Okay, for real this time. All that's actually over here is just one more chest. But this one's actually a unique item that we need for, something. And finally, here is the last chest. It was actually in here this whole time.
All this for a final dinner.